The three largest parties in the outgoing Dáil are, according to the opinion polls, likely to be the three largest parties in the next Dáil. At least one and possibly two of those three parties will be needed to form the next government. We're joined in studio by the directors of election for those parties. Matt Carthy, outgoing TD for Cavan Monaghan of Sinn Féin. Olwyn Enright of Gael, formerly a TD for Laois Offaly and Minister for Finance and outgoing TD for Dublin West, Jack Chambers of Fianna Fáil. Let's start by looking at the campaigns you've planned. Matt Carthy, in the last general election, you ran too few candidates. In the local elections, you ran too many candidates. Have you hit the Goldilocks number this time? And bearing in mind, who's going to get the blame if you haven't?
Well, ultimately, it will be the people, David, who will decide. But certainly what we have now presented to the Irish people is a choice, a real choice. For the first time in 100 years, there is a chance of delivering a government that doesn't include Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael.
Enough candidates for an overall majority.
Well, I can tell you that if Sinn Féin elect 71 candidates as TDs, we will lead the next government, and comfortably so. And we want to do so because we believe it is time for change. We believe that the two parties that have been in government for 100 years have failed on the big issues of today, particularly housing, but also in terms of cost of living, childcare, the delivery of our health services. So now the Irish people have a chance to give us a chance to do things better. OK,
Olwyn Enright, the big problem facing Fine Gael obviously is 18 of the 35 TDs elected last time are not running. You're going to have a big problem holding those seats, and certainly adding extra seats in those constituencies is going to be a huge problem.
I don't look at it that way at all. Excuse me, we have a team of 80 candidates right around the country, a lot of experience in that. We have a large number of councillors running between them. They've over 350 years of experience in politics. And we have new candidates who are really well known in their local communities, with people like Martina Jennings in Mayo.
Oh, don't be starting listing candidates now.
No, I won't, but I think it really is important to point to the experience that a lot of these people have, and I could name plenty more in other constituencies if you give me the time.
No doubt, which I won't.
You know, so.
OK, Jack Chambers, you've been in government for 4 years. Before that, you supported the previous government for 4 years. Your party leader has been in the job for 13 years. If people are looking for change, you're not it.
But just to say, Micheál Martin has brought enormous experience and leadership in his time in government, leading the government during COVID, during the cost of living, and bringing enormous economic progress to the country when we've seen a lot of turmoil across the globe, in Europe and elsewhere. And that's what we need in this election. We need people who want to take on the leadership role, a mature approach, and also to protect the economic progress that we've made. We're running 82 candidates across the country, the most number of candidates of any political party, because we want to lead the next government. We want to drive forward the progress that's been made, and also we're ambitious with new plans for the future in housing, in health, addressing the concerns about the cost of living, and that's why we want to lead the next government, and we'll be setting out a really positive stall over the next number of weeks.
OK, Matt Carthy, you're talking about change, talking about ending the 100 years of Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. Does that mean that you will not go into government with either of those parties?
So what we want to do is create a government that doesn't include either of those parties. I want to be very clear about that. But at the end of the day, the Irish people are going to decide what the makeup of the next Dáil. And unlike other political parties, we're not going to disrespect any voters who make any particular choices. But we do know this: we have to fix housing. These parties in government have created a situation where house prices are beyond the reach of virtually every ordinary person. The truth is that if they return to government, the very real prospect is that house prices will continue to rise, that rents will continue to rise, that homeless levels will continue to rise. That's before we even start talking about the challenges that families and workers are facing with childcare costs, with just the basic essentials of life, being able to access a GP or a dentist or any other public service. These parties have failed, so we want to see them out of government.
But you're not prepared to say that you won't go into government with them?
I'm not prepared to say that we won't, that there is somebody we won't speak to. If people have a mandate, of course Sinn Féin will enter into discussions, but what we want ultimately is for the Irish people to make a change, to give us a chance to get these parties out of power.
Olwyn Enright, why should voters give their number one to you rather than to Jack Chambers' party?
Because I think Fine Gael have shown over the last large number of years our ability to lead in government, our ability to take difficult decisions in difficult times, through Brexit, through COVID and through the cost of living crisis, where we have done a lot to assist people. I think what's forgotten sometimes in this conversation is that without a sound economy, without the country being on that sound footing that experienced people like Paschal Donohoe have brought us to, we don't have the money, won't have the money to address all of those other issues.
But you're awash with money. And the problems haven't been solved.
Because of the sound financial decisions that have been taken in the last number of years. I wouldn't use the phrase awash with money, but certainly there's a huge progress being made in areas. But what people want, I think, to hear today and tonight is what parties are going to do for the future. And over the next 3 weeks, Fine Gael under Simon Harris will be showing the steps that we want to take and our vision for Ireland.
OK, Jack Chambers, I was listening to former Fianna Fáil strategist Gerard Howlin on Morning Ireland this morning. He said, I can't think of big differences between them, that's Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. They're different flavours of the same thing. Why should our viewers give you their vote rather than Olwyn?
Well, I think if you look at the big differences that have happened in the last 4.5 years, we've tried to take on the issues that have really mattered when it comes to delivery of public services.
So Fine Gael haven't?
Affordability in housing and driving progress when it comes to the supply of housing and our economy. We know that housing is a central issue facing many people. About 20,000 homes being built a year. We're on a pathway to delivering 40,000 and we want to get to 60 at the end of the next government and in 2030. We're ambitious to drive...
Sorry, hold on.
We're ambitious to deliver much greater affordability and supply of housing across our economy and also managing our economy well so that we can deliver the public services. And that's what Sinn Féin don't get. They talk down the economy, they talk down progress in public services. And that negativity isn't what the public want. People want to see a focus on the future and a positive drive to build Ireland and to move it forward.
Let me put that to Matt Carthy.
These guys have managed to build less homes this year so far than they did for the same period last year. Things aren't getting better under Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. You've heard a young 20-year-old in Cork saying that he believes that he will not be able to secure a home that he can afford within the next 2 decades. That's the lived reality of young people all over the country. And the truth is that Jack's party has failed, but so has Olwyn's party has already failed.
Under your party,
at this early stage of the campaign, could we please have some civility, whatever, about what happens later? Olwyn Enright.
I think the point has to be made that under Sinn Féin policies, and you do say you'll be different, and I don't think there's any doubt among people you'll be different, but it's what that difference is.
People will have a home that they can afford.
People won't own the home.
That's the difference.
People won't own the ground that home is on.
The period that this government have been in office, house prices have increased in this state by 100,000 euro.
You'll take the rug out from under people like that young man you referenced there. You'll abolish the Help to Buy scheme. People won't have the opportunity to buy their own home.
Jack Chambers, final word from you.
Sinn Féin would abolish the Help to Buy scheme, they'd abolish the First Home scheme, they'd break the Land Development Agency, they'd undermine all the progress that we've made in housing, and most importantly of all, Sinn Féin take the economy for granted. They would risk the economic progress we've made with a failed plan and high spending and high tax.
10 seconds or less, Matt.
That's not how you deliver progress for people in our economy.
People will judge Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael on their record. The difference on this occasion, that has never been the case in any previous general election, is that there is a choice that can involve getting these two parties out of government, but they have to give Sinn Féin a chance
There's been a choice to the Irish people in every election. You've never been willing to step up.
Olwyn Enright, Jack Chambers, I won't wish you luck, but I hope you enjoy the campaign. Thank you. I know you're very busy. Thanks for joining us on 6-1.
Pleasure.